Hey everybody, it's Miss Johnson. I'm showing you today a little bit, explaining the COUNTIF function a little bit in Excel and giving you a short example. So what is the COUNTIF function? Think about it in two parts. One, count. So you're probably going to want to count something. Second part, if. You're counting something if it meets a certain criteria. So what COUNTIF is it counts something in a range if it matches a criteria. So what does that mean? An example might be, I'm somewhere and I only want to count the number of names that have the letter A in them. So I'm counting something, I'm counting names in a range. I probably have a list of names somewhere. If it matches the criteria. My criteria is if it has the letter A in it. So I'm counting names in a range, a list of names, and I'm seeing if it has the letter A in them. I can do this myself pretty easily, but this is something Excel can also do, which gets really helpful when you have documents that are super long, have hundreds upon hundreds of rows of data. What you need to write a COUNTIF statement is the range and criteria. Here's a flowchart example of what it looks like when Excel actually does a COUNTIF statement. One, it looks at a cell. It looks at the condition, it says, does this cell follow this condition? For ours, it would say, does this name have an A in it? If it does, yes, add one to the count. If it doesn't, it's going to ignore it and throw it out. Let's see how this actually works in practice. Here I have some orders from my fake fruit stand. And I want to know, these are all each order, I want to know the number of apple orders I had. So if I wanted overall the number of orders, I could just count the number of orders, but I only want to count the orders that have apples in them. This is a small enough range that you can actually check my work. You can go through and count how many apples there were. But if there were 200 orders in here, you'd lose count pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a formula. Remember, formulas always start with the equals sign. If you don't want to type it out, you can also look for COUNTIF in the formula, in this little formula function, and it'll come up right there. I prefer to type them out. It's up to you. Equals COUNTIF. And it tells you, counts the number of cells within a range given the conditions. And Excel tells you, hey, I need a range, you need to tell me where to look, and the criteria, what to compare it to. My range is going to be the fruit ordered. This is all the places where apples could show up. I know apples only start here, but the reason why I'm highlighting the whole thing is because apples could show up anywhere. Maybe I look back at my order and actually this was 2 apples that Garrett Baldwin ordered. It's safer to make your range as wide as possible. So my range is the fruit ordered. My criteria is apple. I want whatever to be in the cell to be apple. If it is, I'll count it. If it's not, I won't. Close my parentheses. That's my formula. I want you to take a minute, pause the video. What do you think the number is going to be there? Alright, got your number? Let's see if you're right. 3. Let's go ahead and check. 1, 2, 3. So what I just did is I just counted the number of orders that were for apples. And I could do this for the rest of these too. For pomegranate, COUNTIF, I'd look in this whole range and I'd check if it was a pomegranate. 4 pomegranate orders, and so on and so forth. That is how you use COUNTIF in Excel.